Persons of Reddit, what is the best riddle you know that would make someone lose their minds over it? Tread on the living, they make not a mumble. Tread on the dead, they mutter and grumble. Leaves, no, come back. I want to know the answer. That's my favorite thing I've read today. One night 4 men sat down to play. They played all night till break of day. They played for gold and not for fun, with separate scores for everyone. When it came time to square accounts, all men had made quite fair amounts. Can you the paradox explain? If no man lost, how could all gain? They were musicians. Love this one. Thank you. I was going to say blackjack. I feel extra foolish because I was reading the riddle to the tune of Uncle Pen in my head. Blackjack also works. I would also take issue with the idea that they aren't playing for fun. Sure, obviously their chief objective is making a living, but arguably the reason why they chose to become musicians is because it's fun. Oh, I heard a good one. With pointed fangs and in plain sight, my bloodless victims are bound by my bite. What am I? Edit. Anyone wanna try this for a spell? I'm heavy forward. I weigh a lot. But when I'm backwards I'm certainly not. What am I? Edit. Can do a third and final to stroke your spinal. For some I cause joy. For some I cause strife. Treat me well, and I'll last for life. What am I? A stapler? 2 girls went to dinner together, and both ordered iced tea. One girl pounded down 5 of them in about a minute, and the other took her time drinking one. The girl who drank 1 died, while the girl who drank 5 survived. However, all of the drinks that were served turned out to contain poison. Why did the girl that drank more iced tea survive? The maker doesn't want it. The buyer doesn't use it. The user doesn't know it. Not the best, but a fun one. A coffin. There is a windowless room with only a single door. Inside the room is a lamp. When the lamp is on, no light escapes the room. Outside the room are 3 switches, one of which operates the lamp. You can use the switches in any order any number of times. The door can only be opened once, and after you enter the room you can immediately know which switch turns on the light. How is it possible? Turn on the first switch. Wait a few minutes. Turn the first off, and the second on. Go into the room. If the light is on, it's the second switch. If it's off, touch it. If it's hot, it's the first switch. And if it's cold, it's the third. Correct. You leave home. Take 3 left turns. And return home. Who are the 2 masked men waiting for you? The ump and the catcher. It is the beginning of eternity. The end of time and space. It is the start of every end. The end of every place. What is it? I love this one. Because it is so simple, but some people have struggled with it for days lol. It works best when spoken out loud rather than written out. Seeing it written makes it easier to solve, because the answer to the riddle is contained within the riddle itself. Letter E. Yep. Andre and Leo are dead on the floor, naked, and surrounded by water and broken glass. If foul play isn't at work here, then what happened? Their tank ruptured. They are fish? They are fish. What has 4 letters? Sometimes has 9, but never has 5. Yes, this is the correct answer as far as I'm concerned. What word begins with E, ends with E, and contains 1 letter, but is not the letter E? Should be envelope. It has a letter inside. Exclamation mark. Yeah, you got it. It's thrown away when needed most, yet brought back when done with it. The package of your microwave food with the instructions on it. The sacred texts. This one can't be told online, but is an absolute brain bender eye roll. A farmer has 30 cows, 28 chickens. How many didn't? The answer is 10, because 28 is actually 28. But people have 28 in their heads, and have a hard time solving it. What falls but never breaks? And what breaks but never falls? Night and dawn? What starts and ends with T, and is filled with tea? Teapot! Exclamation mark. This thing, all things devours. Birds, beasts, trees, flowers, gnaws on, bites steel, grinds hard stones to meal, slays king, ruins town, beats high mountain down, What is it? Time. I see you've heard this one. There are 12 men on an island. They all weight the same. Except one. He can be heavier or lighter. This has nothing to do with the solution. You don't know who is heavier/lighter. There is no scale. Only a seesaw. You can use the seesaw only 3 times. How can you find out who is heavier/lighter? Press down on their necks until Fatty confesses. Rosa Diaz. Kind of sounds like Said as well, but using sharpened wood. You have a square house. All 4 walls face south. A bear steps in your front yard. What color is the bear? White. North Pole. Polar bear. Airplane crash. You don't bury survivors. A man is sitting in a chair. The chair is in a cabin. The cabin is in the woods. How did the man die? Clue, he was dead when he got there. I like the slightly longer version. On top of an unclimbable mountain. In the center of an impassable forest. Sits a cabin with 4 dead people sitting inside. They did not kill each other. So what happened? I allow all questions, but only answer yes or no. I breathe. Yet am not alive. My licks are never those of love. The more you feed me, the hungrier I become. What am I? Fire. What is a fire lick? 4 men walk into the desert. Suddenly all 4 are simultaneously knocked out. They awake buried to their heads in the sand, unable to look anywhere but straight ahead. They are positioned so that each man sees another's head before him. However, between the first and second man there is a separating wall. So the first man sees only desert. The second man sees only wall. The third man sees another's head and a wall. The fourth man sees 2 heads and a wall. On top of each man's head is a hat. The underside of each cap is black, but the outside of each cap is either blue or white. Before any of the men can speak, their captors tell them if they speak, they die. However, if any of them can guess the color of their cap on the first try, they can all go free. The captors tell them that there are 2 blue caps and 2 white caps. After a minute, the third man says his hat correctly, and they are all free. How did he know? If 2 and 3 had the same color, 4 would know his color. Since 4 doesn't speak out, 3 knows his color is different from 2. Exclamation mark. I'm fairly sure this is the right solution, but it assumes something the riddle doesn't mention. The problem with this solution is that there is no way for person 3 to know he is person 3 and that there is someone behind him at all. For all he knows, there are 2 people on the other side of the wall. Assuming the captor does not put everybody on the same side of the wall. If there is nobody behind person 3, then everyone's chance, including person 3, of guessing correctly is exactly 50%. In which case I would question the captor's motivation for going through all that trouble, but still have the same odds as not burying them in front of a wall, i.e., why bury them in front of a wall if the odds are going to remain the same? Edit, NVM. Person 3 would have 66% chance of guessing color correctly. The riddle's wording is flawed. It's unclear whether the 4 men know that the wall is between man 1 and 2. It's unclear whether the 4 men know they are all buried in a line at all. Obviously person 4 in this case could see 2 people in front of him and a wall. But the riddle doesn't clarify if he is informed that person 1 is behind that wall, or if there is perhaps a person behind him and he is actually person 3, or if the other person is buried somewhere entirely different and nowhere near them. Basically, the 4 men have to be aware that all 4 of them are buried in a row, and that there is only one wall, and where the wall is in the succession. Given the riddle's wording, this isn't explicitly clear, but all 3 things must be known by the 4 men for the riddle to be solvable, so the wording should be changed. Without that clarification, the third man can't possibly know that he is third. He can't even know he's not second, because he has no idea if there's another wall behind him, or if the 2 men he can't see are nearby enough to see him. All he knows is that he's not person 1, because he can see 1 person ahead of him. Rich people need it, poor people have it, and if you eat it you will die. Nothing. I know this is the answer, but it's always bugged me. Very few poor people actually have nothing, and just because you're rich doesn't mean you need nothing. 3 guests check into a hotel room. The manager says the bill is $30, so each guest pays $10. Later the manager realizes the bill should only have been $25. To rectify this, He gives the bellhop $5 as 5 $1 bills to return to the guests. On the way to the guest's room to refund the money, the bellhop realizes that he cannot equally divide the 5 $1 bills among the 3 guests, as the guests aren't aware of the total of the revised bill. The bellhop decides to just give each guest $1 back and keep $2 as a tip for himself, and proceeds to do so. As each guest got $1 back, each guest only paid $9, bringing the total paid to $27. The bellhop kept $2, which when added to the $27 comes to $29. So if the guests originally handed over $30, what happened to the remaining $1? The $2 shouldn't be added to the $27. They're already part of the $27. $25 for the rooms. $2 for the bellhop! Exclamation mark. I was today years old when someone finally explained the solution to me in a way I could actually understand. Thank you. Totally solvable, but try to do it without writing it down or using outside resources. This is best done strictly verbal. You have a 3-gallon bucket and a 5-gallon bucket and an unlimited supply of water. You must get exactly 4 gallons in one of the buckets, or you will be executed. You have no other way of measuring the water, and no other tools, aside from the 2 buckets. How do you achieve precisely 4 gallons? Fill the 5-gallon bucket. Pour the water from the 5-gallon bucket into the 3-gallon bucket. When the 3 bucket is full, you'll have exactly 2 gallons remaining in the 5 bucket. Empty the 3 bucket. Pour the 2 gallons from the 5 bucket into the 3 bucket. Fill the 5 bucket again. Pour from the 5 bucket into the 3 bucket. Since the 3 bucket already has 2 gallons in it, it can only take 1 gallon from the 5 bucket, leaving 4 gallons remaining in the 5 bucket! Exclamation mark. Or just fill the 3 gallon. Pour into 5. Fill 3 again. Fill the 5. You now have 1 gallon in the 3. Empty the 5. Pour the 1 falling from 3 into 5. Fill 3. Add to 5. There is now 4 gallons. Just F5. 5, 3, E3, 5, 3, F5, 5, 3, 6 steps F3, 3, 5, F3, 3, 5, E5, 3, 5, F3, 3, 5, 8 steps. A farmer has a stray dog, a chicken, and a bag of grain he's taking to his farm. He gets to the river he needs to cross to get to the farm, but his canoe will only fit 1 item other than himself. He can't leave the dog alone with the chicken, or it will eat the chicken. He can't leave the chicken alone with the grain, or it will eat the grain. And the same rules apply on the other side of the river, because the farm is still a few miles away. How does he get everything across the river? 1. Chicken over. 2. Go back and bring the dog over. 3. On the way back, take the chicken with you, leaving the dog in the right side. 4. Leave the chicken on the wrong side and take the grain back to the right side. 5. Then leave the grain with the dog and go back to get the chicken. Or just train your animals. A man who is mute decides to take a train to visit his cousin for the day. At the station, he sees that a round trip ticket is $1, while a one-way ticket is 50 cents. Without signing with his hands, nor pointing at the price sign, he gives $1 to the teller, who gives him a round trip ticket. How did the teller know he wanted a round trip ticket and not a one-way with 50 cents change? He paid with coins such that 50c was a subset of the coins, i.e. in the UK, it'd be 2 50p pieces. Maybe he paid in your country with 4 20c and 2 10c coins. The teller can see that if he'd wanted one way, he could have handed over just some over coins and no change would be needed! Exclamation mark. You got it. Simon's dad has 4 sons, March, April, and May. Who's the 4th son? Simon. IDK though. Simon could be a girl. Maybe her dad has 4 sons and 1 daughter. We would never know. What has 4 wheels and flies? I'm stiff. I may have mouth, though I never talk. I have a million arms. What am I? I'm stiff. I may have mouth, though I never talk. I have a million arms. What am I? Eldritch abomination. Obviously. There exists a word with L in the middle, in the beginning, and at the end. Yet the word only has 1 L. What's the word? Inland. You got it.